Dear MK,
Can you help me?
oh my god, you'll never believe what happened.
I need advice.
Thank you, MK.
Welcome to the Dear MK podcast.
Ready?
Mm-hmm.
Welcome back to Dear MK.
We have a lot going on this week.
We both text each other today. I'm like, I'm filled with...
I'm in a terrible mood.
I have rage, and I also have, like, high energy today, so I feel like... And we haven't talked yet.
No, we didn't see each other last week at all.
Yeah.
And then we've just been typing away on our little shared note.
Which we also haven't been sharing from the note.
No, we
in
haven't.
A while.
So there's plenty.
It's like personal catch-up day.
And we did not talk at all before this. Like, usually, like, we come in, we chit-chat to each other, and then we see, but okay.
Do you want to start?
I stopped taking my birth control.
Oh my gosh, okay, why? And when?
Well, I was miserable. I didn't want to be taking it. I was like, this is stupid. This feels stupid. I'm sick of putting things into my body. I've been weaning myself off of, like, a ton of medications I was on.
Oh.
Because when I was in high school, I got diagnosed with chronic migraine. Just had a little disturbance, but that's okay. We're going to keep going. I got diagnosed with chronic migraine and POTS, which is postural orthostatic tachycardia syndrome. So basically, stood up, blacked out, so dizzy, like really bad circulation. Like it kind of functions like an iron deficiency.
Okay.
But it went hand in hand with the migraines I was having. Whatever. So they put me on salt tablets, like CoQ10, which is like some sort of heart health supplement. I was on Migraleaf, which is like a natural, like, migraine preventative medication, and I was on a prescription.
That's too much.
So, and then I was on a as needed prescription.
Okay.
So, like, a daily one and if a migraine was really bad.
Okay.
So I stopped with the as needed one when they weren't as bad, and then I stopped with the prescription because those were, like, the big ones, and then...
And when was that?
Probably, like, 2 years ago.
Okay.
Like, a while ago.
Okay.
And then I stopped taking the Migraleaf because I was like, this is just a supplement. They said to me, like, it's all natural, like, really, like, it just should help. Okay. And I was like, okay, it's just one more thing I'm taking in the morning. And then I stopped with the salt tablets because I was like, why?
Yeah.
Literally, why? I was like, I take care of my body. There's no point in this.
Okay.
And then I went home, and I thought I was on the other one for something else because I'm on omeprazole for my acid reflux.
Oh my god. There's so many things.
So many things. And there's something... I think I take vitamin D because the omeprazole, like, interferes with that.
I take vitamin D.
Yeah. So I had thought I was on this other medication because of the omeprazole I was on. I thought it was, like, to counteract something else that was doing.
Okay.
And then my mom was like, no, I don't know why you're on that.
What?
And I was like, what the fuck am I taking it then? So I stopped that, and I'm down from, like, a handful of pills in the morning to, like, a few.
Okay.
Which I'm fine with. And... like, I take my omeprazole because I think I would not be able to eat if I didn't. And I take my anxiety medication.
Yeah, important.
I can't deal with that right now. But I was like, I don't want to be taking my birth control. You went on this whole journey. And I was like, number one, I'm jealous of that. And number two, my biggest fear was the whole, like, if you're on birth control, it can change the attraction you feel to your partner.
Yeah.
And, like, did I think that was likely? No. But in the back of my head, was I like, what if I stop and then we're, like, not in love anymore?
Yeah.
I was terrified of that. And I was like, I want to know my body not on it. And so I got sick weeks ago, was throwing up, so wasn't taking any medications at all. And I was like, okay, well, if I didn't take it that week, then, like, whatever. Yeah. And I've been really bad at taking it on time, and I was on the lowest dose of progesterone only because my mom had estrogen-positive breast cancer. So I went to the gyno last week, and she was like, how are you at taking your birth control? And I was like, bad. She was like, are you taking it at the same time every day? I was like, no. Like, maybe within, like, a 3-hour window. Okay. She was like, okay, you're already on the lowest dose of any hormone possible. Yeah. So it's the least effective to start. Okay. This one you're on really only works if you're taking it 24 hours on the dot, same time, every day. She was like, so it's probably not that effective anyways. And she was like, well, are you sexually active? And I was like, yeah, but we're using condoms every time. Okay. Just because I was on Accutane, so it was really important for that. And then I knew I wanted to get off my birth control. So I was like, I want to stay consistent with this. So we're in this routine, and, like, neither of us mind. Like, it's really not a problem. So then she was like, girl, it's pointless anyways. And I was like, done deal. Stopped it that night.
Wow. So it was like a week ago.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
So I've had a horrible week, but I don't know if that has anything to do.
I doubt it's related.
I don't think so.
Well, it's interesting because it's like you were taking things that like can like counteract it anyways, and you were on a low dose. So I feel like I'm curious to see what you feel like in the coming like weeks to months.
Yeah.
Because I had just crazy changes. And I was actually talking with my girlfriends on Sunday night, ironically, about this because one of my friends was like, it's so weird. Like, sometimes I'm just so in my masculine energy and like I just can't do like either like she was like there's some days where I just can't do confrontation and I'm like in my feminine, and then other days when I'm in my masculine I have no problem saying like anything I want to anyone, standing up for myself, blah blah blah. And I'm like, oh, that's interesting, like what phase are you in of your cycle? And she was like, oh wait, I don't know. She's like, well, I just ovulated. I'm like, oh, so you're now in your luteal phase, like you're in your masculine. And she was like, oh, like I didn't get that. But I just feel like there's so many women that they'll be like, yeah, sometimes I feel this way, sometimes I feel this way, I don't know why. But it's like once your body's in its regular cycle, it explains so many of the ways that like we think, we feel, like our behaviors, like it actually explains so much for me at least. And I know when I bring it to people's attention, they're like, oh, that actually makes so much sense. It's just really validating.
Yeah, and the cycle tracking was something I wanted to start doing, but that was another reason I was hesitant about stopping my birth control because I was like, I literally don't have time to learn all this right now.
I get that.
Like, and I just didn't have the time to do the research I wanted to do, and I was afraid to be reliant on that as my form of birth control too, because I felt like, okay, if I'm not on the pill, I have to be doing this.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, like if you're using condoms effectively,
that's what
I was
say.
like, it's fine.
Yeah. Well, and honestly, some people are like, oh my gosh, well, you know, if it breaks or there's like something that happens, you can just be like absent on your ovulation days. Like it's only a few days. And but at the same time, like a lot of women are extra horny on those days. So it's like, well, I don't want to be absent. But yeah, as long as you're using condoms, I'm sure you're fine. Also, it really is a great time for you because you're just about to finish school. So like this summer you can do the research. Plus it does take like a couple of months for you to become regular anyways, typically. So by the time you are actually in your regular cycle, you'll be learning about it and it'll make more sense. Because if you even started, I mean, I obviously learned about everything before and then made my decision and like really, I over prepared, but that's just me as a person. But you're like me too. So I get that. But I do think it'll just be easier for you to be like, oh, I've actually already kind of noticed XYZ.
Yeah.
I don't know. I love my period. I love when I'm ovulating. Like, I'm really weird about it. I'm like, okay, like, this is the amount of blood. I love looking at it. Like, when I'm ovulating, I'm like, oh my gosh, like, how sticky. Like, this is crazy. It makes me feel, like, extra connected to my body and therefore, like, womanhood.
Yeah, I get that. And that was my reasoning for wanting to stop all of the medications. I was like, I'm not gonna I can't do what you do. You are very much like holistic everything.
Though.
I bet I will too. But I'm not there yet. But I was like, I'm just not in a place to do that right now. But I was like, what is the harm?
Yeah.
Like literally I'm stopping.
I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
I'm like excited.
My mom was not happy with me.
It's okay, I was like, though.
Suck it.
Yeah, but you are literally being cautious. Like you're protecting yourself. So I feel like that's fine.
Yeah, I just want to say something that I was really, really hesitant about was I was very ready to do this when our legislation started changing. And that was what made my decision so hard for me because I was like, okay, I want to do this, but if God forbid I make this decision and something does happen, like what if I'm not in a position to get the emergency health care I need?
Yeah.
And that was like the one really restricting factor for me because I was like, I don't feel like the world is at a place where I feel comfortable enough doing this. But I feel like I feel like maybe it's all a lie too, that like you need to be like doing a million things. Like I feel like we're all told you need to be on some form of hormonal birth control in
Yeah.
order to be having safe sex. And
It's just
like
not true.
the more I've thought about it and the more I've been using other methods in order to have safe sex, I'm like, I don't think so. I
No.
like, genuinely don't think so.
Women, like, birth control is a literal experiment. Like, they didn't tell, like, there was no real testing. And they're just like, you have a headache, birth control.
Boom,
Like,
fixed.
it's, you have acne, birth control.
That's why I was so angry about it too, because I am on all these other medications,
Yeah.
and it's like I am not in a position to stop taking my anxiety medication right now.
No.
Like I'm just not in a place to do that. But once I started taking that, I learned no research was done, no interactions with birth control. So the second I started taking it, and I'm bleeding all the time, and I'm like, I don't know what's going on with my body. It's because no one does the research.
No.
So it's like, is it better for my body that I'm taking it? Probably not.
I don't think so.
I don't
After
think
the
so either.
research I've done. I just am like, for anyone that just recently started listening, I read like 5 women's health books and spent an entire summer just looking into birth control, what it does to our bodies, holistic ways of like healing from it. I had cysts, all these things basically, and like I literally healed my body in a year based on the research. So I feel like because of that and like where I'm at right now and how amazing I feel, and I've never felt this good in my entire life, I can definitely say like, well, what I read was true for me at least. So it definitely is encouraging, like to see someone else do it and then it's like, oh, you're okay. And like things are actually better. And it'll just be fun. And like back to what you originally said with I totally get legislation, first of all, that is scary. And I feel that way about like getting pregnant.
Yeah.
So scared. But I can't dive down that rabbit hole today. It's too dark. Anyways, the like attraction changing though, that didn't happen for me either, but that was a huge fear of mine. It does happen for a lot of women, and it's basically like when you're on birth control, you're more attracted to like the clean type of man versus like after birth control you want like a why is grizzly the only word coming to my mind? Like a manly man. Like a
lumberjack.
Yeah, no, literally though. Like a like someone that you would say like back in the day, like we want to procreate with you because you can like build a house with those muscles and like kill a deer, whatever, like eat the meat.
Forage.
Yeah, like you can like do the things. So it's our like biology, like the natural biology in us that is attracted to that kind of. But I didn't really feel that kind of change. But I will say like the way that men view me or look at me, I noticed a huge change.
Really?
When I got off, like when I'm ovulating and I go to the gym, it is very different than when I am not ovulating at the gym.
Really?
Like when I'm walking around. And that was something else like in studies that I read that they noticed. It's like it's the pheromones. Like they're so much stronger. So it is really interesting. And then obviously like I have a boyfriend too, so seeing kind of the way that does like shape your sex life of like they're literally more attracted to you when you are ready to procreate. It's like it's going back to like the literal like basics of your
like
biology.
Fundamentals.
It's freaky. Yeah, like it's actually not just like your thoughts. It's more like you just took out this pill that actually changed the way you think and your body works.
That was a perfect segue because sex is the next thing on the list because I just have things to say. I think no one knows how to have sex. That is my hot take. I have talked to like friends, roommates, some of my friends like girlfriends.
Okay.
And it's like why do no women learn? Like I was with 2 of my friends from home, their girlfriends, this past week. And the conversation was we like shame young women into thinking they should never watch porn, especially when they're young. And then you grow up and you have sex and you have no idea what to expect.
Yeah.
No idea what it's gonna look like. And I'm spiraling already.
Okay.
Like I have so many thoughts in my head.
Wait, are you talking to men right now? Are you talking your girlfriends?
I'm talking to my friends from home are men. I was talking to both of their girlfriends, so both of their partners.
Okay.
So it was me and my other
changes the
female friend from
conversation.
home, yes, and both of their girlfriends, so 4 women. And I was sharing about someone else I know who had these, like, terrifying ideas of what, like, sex was.
Like, based on porn?
No, because she had never seen it.
So she was, like, something she made up in her head.
Yeah.
Based on, like, conversation.
Yeah, so, like, giving head, she confused with getting, like, face fucked.
Oh, God.
So, like, instead of her being in control of that situation, he was in control.
Okay.
And I was like, girl, that's terrifying. No wonder, like, that wasn't something that seemed interesting to you, because that's horrifying.
You were like, actually, I'm never doing this.
And I get it if that's what you think. And, like, and, you know, she had never seen anything different.
Wow.
So how are you supposed to know?
Yeah, it's like the lingo.
Yes.
Like, just the way people talk or, like, online stuff, it just, like, sounds scary or isn't, like, an accurate representation.
Yeah. And we know that porn isn't always an accurate representation. Right. I mean, it's super degrading often. But, like, you can find realistic depictions of sex online. And I think they're healthy and important. Like, the amount of men probably that think women orgasm from penetration alone.
Or they're, like, squirting like crazy every time.
We've had this conversation before. We both think it's pee. We don't think it's real.
I need a doctor to go. We need to get
if you're a doctor,
I need a guy now.
Please.
So yeah, we need to.
I missed an opportunity at my appointment. I just have other things on my
mind.
Damn it. I got my first patch near that appointment too.
How did it go?
I thought it was fine. I was honestly a really embarrassing part of the appointment. So I'm on the table. My legs are up in the stirrups.
Yeah.
She's like, okay, just scooch down. I scooch. She's like, okay, a little further.
Yeah, you gotta get to the edge.
So I scooch further. I'm in this, like, cloth gown. I cannot feel where the edge of the table is. And she's like, a little further.
Oh my God, did you fall off?
A little further. I didn't fall off, but I was like, I don't know where the end of this table is. If my coochie goes into your face head on, like, it's your fault because you keep telling me to scooch.
Yeah.
But I was fine after the scooching.
That's so funny.
We were talking about sex. Okay.
Yeah.
So then my boyfriend and I, literally like 2 nights ago, are having this conversation where it's expected when you have sex for, like, a woman to suck dick, but it's not expected for men to reciprocate.
Yeah.
So when you're having heterosexual sex, like, oral is basically a given for the man, but not for the woman. It's like a big deal if a guy, like, goes down on you.
Well, I have a take on this. I have always, so again, that's not something that anyone talked to me about. And then when you start having sex, like, you know, often or casually, whatever, in college with, like, multiple people, you kind of start to get a lay of the land, you know? So then that's how you're like, oh, okay, that's what is expected. And yeah, you're, like, not receiving. And the only men that I've ever dated are the men that went down on me my first time sleeping with them. Because that's how I would know, oh, you're a giver. You care about me. But it's they're selfish.
Almost ripping up on off the wall. It's a standard. It's the dick sucking standard. I put that in the notes.
And we're done.
It should be 50-50.
Well, yeah. I just stopped doing it. Like, well, no, not in gender. No, not in gender. In my hookups in college, when I realized that, especially when I'd be with the same people, I was like, well, if you're not doing this for me, literally, why the fuck would I do that for you? And that's on feminism. Yeah,
but it's like, okay, if I had to write a bulleted list of what happens in a casual hookup when you have sex, it's you kiss, you give them head, and then you have sex.
Yeah.
And, okay, another thing. My friend that was so unfortunately wrong about like giving head and thinking it was the other thing. We discussed the steps. And I told all my friends there are correct steps to having sex. Okay. I have my list up. It
I
is.
don't know if they'll be able to see.
It's in our
No,
text.
literal list.
It's like a literal text I sent to them because I have another friend who was just like having casual sex with someone not in a relationship. None of these steps were being followed, and I was like, wrong. Like, you've been in relationships, you've had sex before. Why are you settling for someone who doesn't follow the steps?
Now that's interesting to me.
Yeah. She was having much better sex than this before.
It's like internalized.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like, are you following the steps? And she was like, what are the steps? And I was like, you motherfucker.
That's really interesting.
You're about to learn. Okay, kissing. That should always be first. I don't waver on that one. They give you...
I wouldn't waver on that too. And I love, like, slow... Yeah.
Foreplay. Kissing leads right into foreplay.
I think that is foreplay.
I agree. However, I feel like that can be a lot more than.
Well, yes. But I want to hear them.
Okay, so kissing, foreplay being...
Like sneaking
foreplay being your hands and your mouth stuff.
Okay. Yeah, that's a good way to describe it.
Body kissing.
Hands and
like, foreplay is everything after mouth kissing, I'm gonna say.
Okay.
I separate them in my head. Mouth kissing and then foreplay. Like, clothes coming off.
Yeah.
Kissing other places, things.
Touching.
Yeah. Exactly. Okay. Next. This is, not set in stone step. This is just my preference. Female orgasm.
That's a preference I'm with you on.
I think that's where it belongs, personally. It doesn't have to be step number 3 always. It has to be in there.
If women are coming second in everything else in the world, you can at least give us this.
And I just, like, physically, biologically, it makes the most sense.
It does, because you're lubricated.
And that's what's going to get you ready to go. So,
yeah.
You can disagree with me, but I'm going to think you're wrong if you disagree
with me.
Well,
a lot of women, don't like it. And whenever someone says that to me, I say, well, you haven't had the right partner.
Don't like what?
Getting head. I have a friend that said she just doesn't like it. And I was like, well, I think there's, one of 2 issues here. 1, that person doesn't know what they're doing. 2, you don't know what you like and need. Because if you don't know yourself, you can't tell them what to do. And then it's just, or 3, a lot of girls feel super embarrassed and self-conscious of just someone down there.
Mm-hmm.
And I will say, for girls that feel like that, again, it's that's a self-love. Sorry, I just have to plug this in here because I feel like it's really relevant.
Please.
I feel like for girls that feel like that, it's definitely based in, rooted in self-love, feeling confident in yourself, feeling good. And I feel like you have to learn to love your vagina.
Exactly.
There's a lot of ways to do that. We can talk about that another day if we need.
New episode, vaginas.
Take a mirror down there, check it out, know what's going on, figure out what you like and, what feels good for you. Because once you can, do that with yourself, you know what to say for that person pretty much. And, you can experiment, but also, you can, shove them under a pillow. You can shove them under a sheet or a blanket so you're not looking at them and, close your eyes. There are ways to, not stare at them if you don't want to and, that makes you uncomfortable. And same with you. You can position yourself so that it doesn't feel scary.
Yeah.
But just know there are options because you will like it.
And I have to agree that if you don't like it, it's just someone's, not doing what's best for you. But that's also not the only way. If you don't want to start with that, if you're feeling a little self-conscious, you don't know, you haven't really had, the body image conversation maybe with that partner, there's nothing to say they can't use their hands or a toy or whatever it is to get you to orgasm also.
And don't be scared of toys. I hate when men are scared of toys. It's not to replace, it's to add
Enhance.
It's enhancing for both of you, not just one.
Mm-hmm.
There are things for all people. And again, it comes with experimenting and being confident, but it's just something that shouldn't be feared. And if that's also something that the woman needs to get there, then that person that they're with should be so willing to do that for them.
Yeah.
Because nothing's going to feel worse than dryness going into sex that will hurt.
No. Okay. We have kissing, foreplay, female orgasm, condom. If you're in a serious relationship, I don't know what you're doing, but for the casual hookup, for those starting to have sex, Condom is crucial.
Yeah.
Okay. Next, sex. We know that one. Next, pull out.
Oh yeah, I remember your friends were talking.
I'm really not okay with people who don't have the conversation just because we're using a condom. Don't like think that you don't have to pull out.
Yeah. Do what you're comfortable
That's
with.
a violation for me.
Yeah.
At least if you're like, I don't care if we're using a condom. I want you to pull out no matter what.
That's a part of consent.
Exactly. Nice. Awesome. Come.
Okay.
That's the man.
Okay.
He deserves it too, you know?
Yeah.
I'm not gonna.
And then almost the most important part.
Pee. Pee is so important.
We don't need UTIs.
No. Final step, aftercare. This, though, can be part of pee.
Okay.
Hear me out. I never go pee by myself.
I knew where you were going with
I get taken to pee.
Yeah.
I've never once peed after sex by myself.
And I'm like, how was it? That was so good.
Like, I had a great time to do. And it's like, yeah, I like that thing where you, and I'm like, oh, yeah. And you know what? Sometimes I'm sitting on that toilet for 10, 12, 15 minutes waiting for pee to come out. Sometimes I really...
No way. That long?
Maybe
Is that an
15 is an
exaggeration?
exaggeration.
Okay.
It will take me forever to pee.
It takes like a second for me, but not...
You're probably better drinking water than I am, though.
You've always got a water bottle.
I'm not always drinking it.
I drink at least like 8 to 10 water bottles.
Yeah. No, not me.
Okay.
And we hang out. We let the faucet run. We do whatever needs to happen until I pee.
He's so patient.
Exactly.
I love that. Okay, I really liked that.
Thank you.
That was really good, and I feel like for a lot of like first-time sexers or people that aren't enjoying their sex,
follow the steps.
Yeah, it's really, I would say, like the whole point of that too is just like getting the things that you need to feel good and protect yourself.
Exactly.
Yeah, I love that. On the same page, okay, did you see the Sabrina Carpenter video?
That was my next one, yeah, because I saw that you put that. No, I saw that you put it in there, and I was like, eat.
I'm pissed. Okay, so first of all, I see the video, and I'm like, ooh, spicy.
There you go.
And then I see the comments, and people are like, okay, wait, actually, sorry, let me context this.
Yeah.
Well, let's like put the video so people can see it. So Sabrina Carpenter is on stage. She's singing. I don't remember the song, if I'm being honest.
Juno.
Okay.
And in the song, it's like talking about sex. Have you ever tried this one? And then at the end of the stage, she'll do a position.
Yeah.
So she's in Paris for 2 nights. The first night, she does, like, something random, and everybody's like, missed opportunity to do the Eiffel Tower, what the fuck? And then the second night, she does the Eiffel Tower position with 2 of her male dancers, and then everyone has shit to say about it.
Yeah, they're literally like, you're a degrading woman. There was a ton of backlash. I guess I thought I wrote down more than that, but there was just a ton of like gross comments. And I'm like, well, this is literally the problem. Like, it just makes this narrative that women can't enjoy sex. It can't be a part of conversations. It can't be playful. Oh, you can't have like music about it? Like, what? That's all men's music is about. Have you heard rap? Sorry. Confused. So I'm just like, it made me pissed because it's like, well, women can also be, to me, like Eiffel Tower, like that would be, I would categorize that as experimental.
Yeah,
and like a lot of people are like, well, it's just for the guy, because there's 2 like guys basically, but that's not true.
That's not how that works.
And I guess for anyone that doesn't know what that is, a woman would be giving,
receiving, and giving.
And at the same time.
The men are on either side, and they kind of like...
Yeah.
That's the...
Literally.
for the Eiffel Tower.
So, first of all, like, you're having sex, so that can be enjoyable. And also, like, a lot of women really like giving head, too. It's basically like, it's like 69ing, but with 2 people. You know what I mean? I personally, not for me. But I feel like a lot of people like that. Like, what's the difference?
The Eiffel Tower isn't for you, or 69ing isn't for you?
I'll just leave that. No, I'm small. Like, honestly, physically, it's not fun.
Yeah.
I'm just too little for the partner. choose. Okay. Anyway, that pissed me off.
But can I point something out?
Yeah.
She's done that the entire tour. She's done a different position every time. That one is the first one where her male dancers were involved. Usually she always does the position by herself. I didn't see any comments about this, but I just have to say it's never been a problem when she was doing it by herself. So I think the fact that she brought like other people, especially men, in are maybe what's part of the problem. But
probably
that was her choice.
Yeah, she was having fun. Sorry. Yeah. Also, like, the girlie's doing more sexual things makes her more money.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, if women are going to be sexualized and it's not their choice, they should also be able to, like, have fun, want to do the things, and make money off of it. You know what I mean?
That's why my dream job is to work at Hooters. Not my dream job, but I've...
little side hustle.
What I've always wanted, because I walk out in public and I'm getting sexualized for nothing, so I might as well do it on purpose and make money from it. Well,
that's exactly what I'm saying.
Because, like, if I were to put on that Hooters uniform, I'd know exactly what I was doing, and then I'd be inviting it, and then I'd get a ton of tips.
Yeah, you're, like, consenting to what you're doing. It's just, it pisses me off. Also, another, okay, this is, like, a few weeks back now. Did you see the Monica Lewinsky interview on Call Her Daddy?
Clips.
You saw it? Okay.
Not the whole thing.
Okay, so I listened to it, and I actually just liked, so she was basically talking about, I mean, obviously when this happened, social media wasn't a thing. It's tabloids, paparazzi, everything was slut-shaming, just, like, saying the worst things about her. Not anyone was saying, oh, well, actually, like, she couldn't consent. Like, huge fucking power dynamic, huge, even though she was over 18, but it's still, like, huge age difference, too. And then no one was believing her side of the story. It was like, oh, she's an attention seeker. Like, he probably didn't even want it. Like, are you fucking kidding me? If the president's having sex with someone, trust me, they want it. But anyways, the whole thing was like, she was like, I was nervous to come on Call Her Daddy, and I didn't know how it would be received. It's been so long. But she was like, the Gen Z girls are pissed for me. And she's like, if only this happened, like, in today's age, because she would have had so many women on her side and, like, actually pointing out all of the things that I just did and more, but just, like, having her back. She's like, none of the women had my back. Like, no one had my back because of the narrative that was created. But today would be a different narrative, at least for what, like, I would say young women today.
I agree.
With the same like, we have a different mindset.
Because I think we've finally been able to move out of no, that's not true.
That's why I'm like,
we've been able to move away from women slut-shaming women for these kind of issues.
Yeah, the new generations like us, like, that's what we're here for, which leads me to my next little thing. I know you don't follow Bravo, but Paige DeSorbo is trending on, like, everything right now. So she's in Summer House. She's a part of Giggly Squad with Hannah Berner. Hannah Berner's huge now. She just got her Netflix special. Their whole thing is, like, being mean to men. Like, everyone. So her and Craig broke up. Huge Bravo couple. Huge deal that they broke up. They were, like, the Bravo couple. Okay? So they break up. And now everyone that's on Southern Charm is basically fighting with everyone that's on Summer House. And Southern Charm is based in Charleston, South Carolina. I was like, South Carolina. And it can be a little bit more misogynistic over there.
Yeah.
A little bit more traditional, let's say. So a lot of people on that show are like, Paige is mean. Paige is just so focused on her career. She has no time for Craig, and she needs to give him more attention, and she needs to give him babies, and she needs to settle down and move with him and live in that little house and leave New York City. And
bullshit.
It is bullshit. So everyone's literally going against her, and it's like, they showed like, this date that they were on too, and she's like, I'm not gonna apologize for being a strong, independent woman. And so many people are like, she's just mean. And I'm like, no, why is it such a problem now that women are actually just one, like, saying how they're feeling, and then they're doing the things that they want to do, not falling into traditional roles, and, like, huge fucking problem with it.
It's literally Taylor Swift's The Man.
It is. It just really makes me so mad. And then I'm, like, sitting there thinking, like, we shouldn't even sit through that. I know that they're, like, dating in a different circumstance, but it's like, do you know how many times women stay in, like, whatever sexual encounter because they just feel awkward or feel bad leaving even if they're not enjoying it? How many dates women sit through that they're, like, listening to some, like, degrading man, or, like, just like a bad date. Like, it doesn't even have to be an awful thing, but it's like, if you're having a horrible time, why are we putting ourselves through this?
It's like this. It's the social obligation to
It is.
let people walk all over you, and that you should tolerate what everybody else wants from you. That's the
Right.
dick sucking standard.
That's what I'm saying. I feel like this was perfect.
It was.
It's just like, and I have an example of this, and it made me think back. So in college, I went on this date. I might have told this already, but I just circumstances. My car literally broke down that day. It was like the one and only time. My car broke down, and so he had to pick me up for the date. I, like, shared my location with all my friends. It was also midday, and, like, we were going somewhere in town for brunch. I wasn't, like, scared about it. I also knew, like, mutual people, so he wasn't a stranger. But whatever. First date, I know nothing about the guy. I get there, he's telling me about past dates he went on, and I'm like, okay, like, there must be, like, I don't know.
A point.
Yeah, or, like, a punchline. I don't know. His punchline, or, like, his whole thing was, oh, like, the last date I went on, I got catfished, and, like, she was fat. And so I went to the bathroom, and I just left her there. I was like, oh, okay. I understand, like, being catfish is not nice, but, like, I also don't really know. Like, you know, like, this is a man just telling me he thought a woman
It very
was fat on the date,
easily
and he
could have
left
been
her.
like a picture from 2 years ago. She
Yeah.
gained like 10 pounds.
No,
since then.
literally. That's what I'm saying. And in that instance, I was done with the date. I wanted to say bye-bye.
But you stayed.
But I stayed. And it's like, me today, I would just be like, no, like, that's not cool. I don't like men that talk about women like that. See you later, bitch. And
We've done that in relationships, though.
I know.
We've been literally in abusive relationships and
We just
sat through it because we didn't want to do the wrong thing.
And I'm just done. I can't say that enough today. We're done. Okay? I
stood up for myself in an email today.
You did.
And Maya told me to. She was like, you know what? You gotta stick up for yourself. You say what you want to say.
Yeah.
Because we're done.
We're done. No, I guess my message today to all the girlies and anyone else listening, you do have to stand up for yourself. You don't have to sit through and or endure anything that makes you uncomfortable, anything that makes you unsafe, anything that makes you feel icky, anything that just rubs you the wrong fucking way.
Even if you don't feel like the other person did anything wrong,
why do you have
if
to
you
stay?
don't like it, fine. That is a good enough reason.
And you can be kind in the way you leave something. But, like, we shouldn't have to put ourselves through anything. And I think we should all take a page out of Paige's book. Seriously. And, like, everyone's like, she's being mean to men. No, she has standards. She's setting boundaries. And she's so amazing in her career. Like, she is so successful. It's like, we're just knocking her because she's successful. Let's be real. Mm-hmm. The men don't like that she's winning. She's making the big bucks. And that's what we're going to do. So screw everyone else.
The last thing I want to talk about today, and then we can wrap it up, is a trend that's going around TikTok right now that's girl Canon events.
Okay.
I screenshotted one that says top 5 girl Canon events.
Yes.
Growing up hating pink. I'm going to rapid fire these. Growing up hating pink is you feeling like you need to reject your femininity because everybody hates women and you think it would be better to be a boy, but you're young and you don't know how to rationalize those feelings. Next, sophomore year downfall. I don't know what that is.
Okay.
3, losing your whole friend. I thought I was going to have one for each, but I just didn't. Losing your whole friend group. This is a thing that happens because girls are insecure and they're mean, and it happens to everybody. Once again, people not being able to stick up for themselves and people not being able to be confident in who they are turns into them being mean to others.
Yep, we're done.
4, realizing it was SA. The amount of times that women experience something and then don't realize what happened until after the fact, this is why coercion is such a problem.
Yeah.
This is why pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing till someone finally says yes is not consent.
Yeah.
Because this happens constantly, and you shouldn't have to take a bunch of time and hear someone else's story to realize that that was wrong. Okay, number 5, crashing out over that one guy you never dated. Moral of the story, we're done. We're not putting up with someone who doesn't want to put effort into us, and so many women will tolerate situationships or lack of energy or whatever it is that lasts so long, and it's because you don't look at yourself in the mirror and think, I deserve better than this.
Yeah.
You look at yourself and you think, okay, well, everybody tells me I need to tolerate this, so I'm going to tolerate it. And that's not how it works.
No.
I'm done.
Honestly, mic fucking drop.
We'll see you next week.
Yeah. Follow us on Instagram at dearmk.podcast. Follow us on TikTok at dearmkps. And on YouTube. Is it just
Dear MK Podcast, maybe?
I'm like, what is wrong with us? I think it's just Dear MK Podcast. Yep, Dear MK Podcast. Follow us if you like this. Give us a 5-star review. Comment. We love you.
We love you. Don't put up with anything.
I'm done. That was amazing.
That was so good. I think maybe one of my
Caption.
favorites we've done.
We're done.
That is the energy I had today.
Till next time, XOXO MK.